half article is better than thousands of Buhari.
Buhari is doing the best in Nigeria.
Presidential election.
You're watching Roots TV Nigeria. This is our show, Mood of the Nation. We are testing the mood of the electorate as we count down to the elections. It's just 10 days to the February 16th presidential polls. Now, here in the Roots TV newsroom, we've invited some young people to come join us as we discuss who people are going to vote for. I mean, we're going to be taking an opinion poll of the people in here, who they are going to vote for, if they're going to vote for starters, and what are the factors influencing their choice of, presidential candidates come February 16. My name is Gloria Oje Emodi, and I might as well just start with Kehinde. Kehinde is a young man who's very politically aware, and Kehinde, I must start with asking you, are you going to vote?
Of course I will. I've made up my mind to exercise my franchise come February 2019.
I am so proud of you. Now, here's the interesting thing. Will you tell us who are you going to vote for? Will you tell us?
I want to keep that to my mind. I want to keep that to myself.
All right. So what are the factors influencing this choice of candidate that you're going to be giving your vote February 16? I'm
looking forward to casting my vote for a candidate who is really ambitious and who has the interest of Nigerians at heart. I'm looking forward to casting my vote for a candidate who will address the infrastructural challenges we have in Nigeria. I'm really looking forward to a candidate who will eradicate corruption.
Interesting. I know you don't want to tell us who you're going to vote for, but a lot of people say this election is just between the APC and the PDP. What do you say about that?
I strongly disagree.
Ooh.
I strongly disagree because if you check the percentage of the number of people that registered to vote,
84 million.
Yes, and if you check, I think about 60 or 70% are youth.
Youths, yes.
And of course, if you check the mood of Nigerian youth, they are tired of the old order. And the two candidates of the APC and PDP, they are both empty. And of course, and I think Nigerian youths are so eager to change the order. And of course, and I'm speaking for myself now. I'm tired of the old politicians.
Wow.
And of course, I will be rooting for a more youthful presidential candidate. And I believe we can do it, and we will make it happen come 2019.
He hasn't told us who's going to vote for, but we obviously know it's not for the APC or PDP. Interesting. Okay, so here's Wendy Chinwendu, and she is a fresh graduate from the university. And I want to find out, first of all, Chinwendu, are you going to vote?
I'm unsure right now because we don't know all the candidates yet. We have to wait till February 14th to know the candidate for the third coalition, the presidential candidate.
Oh, so that's what you're waiting for, the third coalition. You want to know the candidate. That means you haven't made up your mind on whether it's APC or PDP.
Yeah, because you're not the only parties, so I need to know all my options.
That's amazing. So she's not going to vote until she's very much aware of all of her options. Judith, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. So Judith, are you going to vote?
Well, voting for now, I can say I'm indifferent about the whole thing because from the stories I've read and from the little knowledge I have about Nigerian politicking, if I put it that way, is a little bit disturbing. For me, in my own understanding, I am looking out if we could have a leader with a character. Because talking about leadership is all about character. Mm-hmm. A character that will have a right mind, a right mind to implement and initiate and implement a right policy which will bring about the growth and development, national development of the country. From my own understanding and
from all of them, you haven't figured out anybody at all who fits that description for you?
For me, I'm still here to find out.
So there's a possibility you may not vote February 16th.
It's not really, but just for now, I'm indifferent about it.
And this is pretty interesting because we've got Chinwendu who says she's not sure she's going to vote because she wants to wait to see all her options. And then there's Wendy who's pretty indifferent at the moment. This is worrisome because we've got 84 million registered voters according to INEC. But there is a possibility we're not going to see all of these people turn up for the polls if people are indifferent. Damola, hi.
Good evening.
Okay, first question. Are you going to vote? Do you have your PVC?
Okay, I'm not voting, but I'm canvassing for a candidate that really understands the state of the nation. When you look at Nigeria very well, you understand that the gap in ignorance has been the problem. So people support candidates that they don't really understand their position when it comes to the society. When you look at the Nigerian society, for instance, you see that most of the candidates just talk about what they would do, what they would do, what they would do, what they would do. But have you really got to understand what it means by corruption? When I talk about corruption in Nigeria, people are talking about money first. But when you go back to the roots, when you go to the government parastatals, like the government offices, the ministries and all of that, the lackadaisical attitude towards work is corruption first. You have government officers that resume 10 o'clock, that close 2 o'clock, that's corruption. They will not be able to deal with that. And when we talk about corruption in Nigeria, we're talking about money first. Now, think about enabling environment. We don't have one of such in Nigeria. We have candidates that just keep rattling about the same thing over and over. They are fighting corruption, Sorry, to say I've not been an APC fan from the beginning, I beg what to mention, because they came to power on the wings of propaganda. They couldn't sustain it, and now they're using lies to want to stay in government. It doesn't work, right? For me, for instance, when you look at even the youth trying to coalesce together, I tell you the average Nigerian youth is even not ready to lead because
So you're talking about this more youth-oriented candidates. You're saying they're not even good enough to lead.
They're not ready to lead because if they're ready to lead, for me, they should have come together to form a stronger force.
That makes sense.
Amongst themselves, they're still divided.
So the fact that they're still divided, they haven't even figured it out 10 days to the elections, you're losing, they're losing your confidence in that.
They have not been able to coalesce. These were the same people that pushed the same government into power. Now they are fighting against the same government. Hello, were you okay 4 years ago when you were thinking?
But people make mistakes, and maybe they're trying to fix their mistakes.
Now, if you're youth, you're educated, right? You have your thought pattern intact, right? You should have been able to see then basically that this government you're supporting, the same things that we fought the former government for, this new government came into power, did it, and nobody said a word. Now nobody can talk, you talk, you're in trouble. Now I tell people that when you really want to understand the state of the Nigerian society, look at our arts, for instance, our entertainment, poor, zero. Now look at the American society, arts and entertainment in the 70%, 80% of it. So when you look at the society that you can't talk through the arts and entertainment, they were in trouble.
Wow, so with all that you have seen, nobody.
At the moment.
I don't know if I'm getting worried. We have got, for a lot of people, they assume, the media has continued to say that this election is really between two major parties, the APC, the PDP. We've got KJ who has said, nope, he's not voting for the big parties. There's Wendy, Judith, and now there's Demola who's saying he's not very sure he's going to vote because none of the candidates has impressed him so far. Okay, so Aisha is one of my colleagues. We're often on the streets. I don't know if I should ask you if you're going to vote, if that will contradict your work, but Aisha, I really want to get your thoughts on this. You've just heard, our guests say, what are your thoughts? First of all, are you going to vote?
I'll try to vote, and we'll have to be reporting the election.
Yeah, so it's quite.
If there's time for us to do the voting, and they're like, okay, since you're journalists, okay, come to the front of the queue, then I'll gladly do that. But then again, listening to the reactions that I'm getting, it's significant in one way because I feel like the youths are being recycled. That is my opinion. As a youth, I feel like we're still recycling ourselves. We're talking about our leaders being, the same from the two major political parties. I agree with Demola where he said, the young, they're not ready to run. They're not.
10 days to the elections, they're still trying to figure out a coalition candidate. Exactly. If you look at leadership pattern, you'd be like, I thought you would have been ready. It's been more than 2 years. We started campaigning, we started talking about it. 10 days to the elections, you're not ready. So for some people, it's dampening the confidence. But then you, as Aisha Jibrin, forget that you're a journalist and all of that. As a person, what are those issues that appeal most to you if you are to vote?
Okay, the issues that would appeal most to me, education. It's quite sad that the ASU strike is going on as long as it is. If I am a registered voter, I'll make sure that none of the people involved, this thing has gone back as far as 2005. So you're talking the two major political parties involved, in this process. I would not be voting for any of them if I look at education and I look at, you know, the key things that are affecting us as a country. Minimum wage, of course, they just passed 30,000 naira. What is 30,000? What can 30,000 naira do for you, Gloria?
I don't even want to think about it. And then, you know, a lot of people are saying this minimum wage conversation should even be deeper. It should be living standards that government should be talking about. I mean, think about it. If you earn 30,000 naira, we already know what's going to happen in the market. And then the rent is going to increase, school fees will increase, price of fish in the market will increase, and we'll probably be back to status quo. Whew. Ogonna, I really want to get your thoughts on this. Are you going to vote?
Not sure.
Okay, so Ogonna, why 10 days to the elections? Why are you not sure you're going to vote?
I haven't made a decision yet.
Of all of the candidates, you haven't figured one.
Not yet.
Why?
I'm just waiting to see.
Okay, this is getting weirder as we continue. Chamaka from the legal sector. Chamaka is my colleague, always ready with an opinion on things. Chamaka, please, are you going to vote?
If I can find the time, I definitely will.
So obviously you have somebody that you want to vote for.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's fantastic. That feels a lot better. So what what were the factors you considered before choosing this particular candidate, you know, to deserve your vote?
I think the most important issue in the 2019 elections is economic stimulation, because everything else we want the lights, we want the roads, rests on the economy. If our economy is not moving, nothing else can move. So we need a candidate that understands that.
And you think you found one who understands that?
I still have my doubts, because the problem is, while we think the race is between the PDP and the APC, it's a situation of two of the lesser evils, because both candidates have had the opportunity to prove themselves on the political field and have produced disappointing results. But the problem is the other candidates, I believe, underestimate Nigeria's problems and do not have a strong understanding of what truly faces Nigerians. And I am confident a lot of them will fumble if they finally get their turn at Aso Rock, but I guess we'll have to find out.
Because these are the options available to you. You must pick one. That's the situation. You must pick one. And you're obviously going to pick one. But you made a very strong point there. The fact that the two main contenders have had their opportunities, and you've got quite a number of Nigerians who are very unsure about their capacity and their capability if they were to return. Some people will say, 2 times the charm. Maybe the second time they would do better. But then you are also right about all the other ones. I mean, until you sit on that seat, you probably don't know how big and how complex Nigeria is as a country to govern. All right, I'm coming back to you, Enito. Enito is always on the field, out in the field, and she's one of those people who keeps meeting Nigerians who give her thoughts, their thoughts on the elections. Going forward, 10 days to the elections. Enito, what are your thoughts? Will you vote if you get the chance, first of all?
Well, I am not going to vote.
Whoa.
Reason being that I've not been convinced about what the candidates who are vying for the #1 seat in Nigeria have to offer.
This is really significant coming from you, Enito, because you are a journalist. You're always in the news. We're listening to them every blessed day. All 79 candidates, we probably know all of them. And you haven't heard any one of them say anything.
Well, the sentiment has really overruled what people really have to offer the candidates, and there's this blame game that trails like what is supposed to actually come out, what they have to put down on the table. You see from the two main political parties, this one is abusing this is abusing. What do you have to offer? We can't continue to live under sentiment, sectionalism, tribalism, and then we expect that we progress. I feel the politics, Nigerians and the candidates, and even we, the electorate, the prospective electorate, we are not going to the right direction. And until everyone is included in the polity, then I'm sorry, things will continue to deteriorate. We will continue to recycle our leaders, and then I don't think Nigeria will be. I am scared for the future of Nigeria. I'm sorry, it's coming from me.
No, but you're typically echoing the sentiments of a lot of Nigerians, because I say that because you're always out there. You're a reporter. You meet Nigerians, a lot of them on a daily basis. So Wow, what an interesting viewpoint. And finally, we have Maria. Maria is one of one of my colleagues. She's also a reporter. And Maria, I want to get your thoughts. First of all, main question: are you going to vote February 16?
Of course, yes.
I'm proud of you for saying that. Thank you very much for saying that, Maria. Have you decided who you're going to vote for?
Yes, I have.
Why did you choose? What informed your decision to vote for this candidate?
Well, the candidate I have already sorted out to vote for is was a former governor of a particular state, and I've seen what he can offer Nigeria if he's given the opportunity to rule as a president. So that's why I...
Some people will say a state is very small in comparison to the whole of Nigeria, which is a very complex country. Some people would say, good, you did a great job in a state, but what about Nigeria? Are you capable of doing that? Do you worry about that with that candidate?
Well, not really, because I think in this world, in this life, if you want to start anything, you have to start small. And he has already proved to the world, he has already proved Nigerians that if he is given the opportunity, he can do better.
That's
as
amazing.
a Nigerian, as a leader.
That's amazing. Better, yeah. That's amazing. Finally, Maria, what are your thoughts about all the people you've been listening to? A lot of people are not going to vote. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they've already made their choices, and that's just for them. But I think as a Nigerian, if you really want to, because we have to change, we are the youth, yeah? We really have to make this country a better place for everyone. So if you want to make your votes, if you don't want to complain when a particular leader is being voted, you have to make your vote count.
Interesting.
So you don't really say, okay, if I had known, I would
not have, you know. Yeah, you know, this is pretty interesting. I mean, we've spoken to my colleagues and our guests right here in the newsroom, and you hear all their concerns, you hear some of the sentiments, and for a greater number are either undecided or refuse or just not ready to vote, because with all of the noise we've been hearing from all of the candidates, somehow either they're not getting through to the electorate enough for them to convince these people to vote for them, or there is a serious missing link. But what is most important, like Maria said, look, this is our country. If you want things to get better, you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to... I met a young man who said, "Na turn by turn, Abi. You try this one, you know what you try." We keep trying and keep trying. Even if you want to give the president a second chance, or you want to get another person, we're all moving forward and we keep striving. This is Mood of the Nation, and you've gotten the mood of our guests here in the newsroom and some of my colleagues. What are your thoughts? 10 days to the elections. Who are you going to vote for? Have you decided to vote? Do you even have your PVC? Please give us your comments on the comment section of this video. My name is Gloria Oji Modi. Till the next episode, please stay patriotic and vote.
Half article is better than thousands of Buhari.
Buhari is doing the best in Nigeria.
presidential election.